week on Storyboard, we speak to Alex Leikikh, Global CEO, MullenLowe Group, about Lowe after the exit of India CEO Joseph George. And Alex also talks about how his agency is grappling with the changes in advertising. We also speak to Rob Norman, Global Chief Digital Officer and Chairman, North America Group M, about what makes India so different. Hello and welcome to Storyboard. This is Shibani Gharat. Joseph George, Group Chairman and CEO, MullenLowe Group India, and Regional President, MullenLowe Group South and Southeast Asia, recently exited the agency after 26 long years. Storyboard editor Anant Rangaswamy spoke to Alex Leikikh, Global CEO, MullenLowe Group, about this announcement and what will Lowe look after Joe. Alex also spoke about how his agency is prepping for the way in which advertising is changing. Let's take a look at this conversation.
Alex, good to see you here.
Good to be here. Thank you.
Tell me, how does new construct work with Joe deciding to do larger things? So how is this construct going to work in India?
Well, first of all, it's worth saying I'm thrilled for Joe. I mean, he's given us 26 years of consistent and continuous service. So in this day and age, that's a bit unheard of. So
it is unheard of.
Yeah. So big kudos and big handshakes and hugs to Joe for everything he's done, not only for the agency and for his clients, but really for the industry here in terms of being able to build the business the way he has, help us do the merger, extend the Mullen brand here, build Point 9, and just attract a lot of talent and attention to this industry. So I've got to give Joe credit for that. Right. I think one of the things he's really done well is he has been able to groom successors, right, and really build a strong bench of players to step into his shoes. And so what we're going to do, and I met with the team this morning, is allow the people that he's developed over the years to do their jobs and lead their respective businesses. Right. So Lowe Lintas will be led by Raj and Arun, and then the guys are going to, Amir and Virat will lead MullenLowe Lintas, or Mullen Lintas. And then Point 9 will be led by Vikas. Right. So that's the model, and that's what we're going to do. And I'm going to be here more often to meet with the guys. I think this is a really important market for us as a global business. Probably one of the top 2-3 markets in the world. I'll spend more time with the management team here, and I'm going to let them do their jobs.
Right. Okay. So moving on to bigger things and larger issues, I think. So what's happening in advertising? You know, we are post-Cannes. I think we've got so many conversations. Everybody's a little tired of, what's happening to the business and where's it headed. So, what's your perspective on that?
It's funny. I was just talking about Cannes yesterday.
Only yesterday. I thought you talked about it every day.
It's still early. I think we're going to see, and it's one of the themes that Joe and I've talked about over the years. We are going to see more advertising-like businesses emerge. We're already seeing it. So if you look at the playing field, we have the let's call them ad agencies with creativity at the core.
Right. That's the old businesses.
The older, or hopefully continuing to evolve businesses.
Right.
We have the Googles and Facebooks at the core. We have the media companies at the core, and then we have now the consultants at the core, right, which is Accenture, Deloitte, McKinsey, on, right? So I think that's the playing field. And I think the question is, what dials do we turn for each one to separate from the others? My belief is, as you call it, the old agency model business has always been about creativity at the core and differentiating around creativity. And I think what we're able to do as a business, broadly as a business, is create a creative ecosystem that allows ideas to flourish and allows those ideas to help clients differentiate their businesses, whether it's new brands, whether it's existing brands, whether it's brands and commodities that need brand to differentiate. I think the issue that some of the other competitors, the other three, are going to have is injecting creativity into their cores, because right now they don't have creativity ecosystems that will allow that to the degree that we have it. If you look from a talent perspective, we're seeing talent around the world getting phone calls from the other kind of three buckets, if you like. And they're thus far not jumping because they need creative ecosystems to thrive and do what they do. So I think that's what we're seeing play out generally. That's kind of theme A. Theme B is, I think, and this is a very colloquial term that I use, is I think we're going to see more of the smashing together of practice areas.
Right.
I think, in fact, I know, and the reason that Mullen pre-Lowe was able to double in size over sort of 09 through kind of 15 in 6 years is we took our vertical experts, our vertical practice area expert specialists, and we smashed them together to make the creative product better. Right? So PR plus media plus creative, media plus creative. And we created hybrids and misfits, and it all led to much better and interesting work, and therefore growth.
Right.
I think we're seeing that play out at scale now. And so I think when you look at things like Ogilvy consolidating to one brand again, I think you're going to see more and more of that kind of behavior within our sphere of what we call advertising agencies.
Right. Alex, you took us through the, say, talent lens. What about the marketer lens? What's the marketer looking for? Now, you say talent is flirting with these sort of tech companies and so on, but staying back because he doesn't see the...
I think the marketer is flirting as well. I mean, I think the advantage that the systems integrators, the Accentures and the Deloittes have in the world, is they have a seat at the C table, right? They already have relationships, the partners with the C-suite, and it's easier for them to sell in, which is why they're buying agencies like Harmarama and others, and you'll see more of that. So I think from a marketer / client perspective, they will dabble and play in some of the other areas. We're seeing, in some cases we're in partnership with Google and Facebook, and in some cases we're competing with Google and Facebook for marketer dollars. And we're certainly seeing that on the part of media companies as they try to build out more of a content play. So I think clients will dabble and explore and experiment. There's no doubt about it. What we're seeing, though, is the most successful work, and if you look at what we're doing in the FEs, is coming out of the bundled kind of offering, if you like. The clients who buy the full suite of products from us tend to get very good, effective results. And I think it's because we do smash the practice areas together.
Yeah. What happens if, say, the Accentures of the world or the Sapiens of the world start winning at Cannes and start winning at FEs? What if they become big entrants and they start winning? How would you see that?
I think it's great if all sorts of companies win at Cannes.
Right.
It'd be better if they could only enter one idea into one category, which is a separate conversation.
Yeah, sure.
But I think any time that the industry can pull in more interesting, more creative people that haven't maybe considered advertising, or for some reason have discounted it, or creative technologists or UI, UX people who are extraordinarily creative, can start to develop Cannes level work, I think it benefits the industry.
Right. I mean, you're spending an extraordinary amount of time with marketers as part of your job. So what is it that keeps marketers awake from your sense of it?
I think, it's a number of things. I think
That's the problem, no? Earlier it used to be one thing or two things, now it's a number of things.
It's 100 different things, right? For some of them it's transparency around programmatic. For some of them it's disintermediation within their businesses. For some of them, it's having 17 agencies on the roster,
Absolutely.
right? I mean, that's a big issue, and having
So
to manage.
is that a failure of the old agency construct that you've allowed this to happen? That you allowed the client to be bombarded with 17 people when it was dealing with one, say, 20 years ago?
I think it's a factor of people splitting off from bigger agencies.
Right.
And starting a digital silo. I mean, think about it. There's a digital agency, there's a social agency, there's a social influence agency, there's a PR agency, there's a mobile agency. There are 100 different agencies. And I think what clients are realizing is, okay, we've experimented with a lot of these agencies, but when you pick on mobile agency, when you hire a mobile agency, they start with mobile first. When you hire a social agency, they start with social first. That's who they are. That's in their nature. I think the trap is that and this is what makes clients nervous, is when you do that, you walk away from starting with the insight and the idea first, right? Because you could have a great piece of content, or you could have volumes of content. You could have volumes of social ideas and volumes of mobile ideas, but if they're not brilliant, insightful ideas, it's just wallpaper. It's just pollution on the internet.
Right.
And I think that's the problem. And I think I think we're seeing that pendulum swing now into give me the big conceptual idea, and then let's talk about how to distribute it. Number one. Number two, and I was talking to these guys yesterday about this, everything is content, right? When the idea is developed and shot and produced, it's content. We may distribute it via digital, we may distribute it via social, it may be a PR play, but it's content first. We work with clients now who we produce a piece of content for, and they put it on, they distribute it via digital channels, and if it hits a certain number of views or a certain number of distribution or impressions, then they turn it into a TV commercial.
Right.
So is it a TV commercial? Yes. Is it a piece of content? Yes. Is it digital? Yes. Is it social? Yes.
Right. That brings me to the sort of last question I want to ask you. If, say, the marketer was paying you X amount of dollars 25 years ago, when it got disintermediated, you started paying actually about 2X to all the parts, the sum of the parts.
Yeah.
Now, are you getting back the money you deserve? Finally, that's what's going to allow you to get the talent you want, to have the offices that you have, and so on. Is there anything happening on the yield front, on a global trend that you can see?
It's inconsistent. It's what you've described. We're seeing in certain pockets. We're still seeing in certain pockets. We're still seeing fee pressure due to disintermediation. I think the clients who believe in the power of an idea and as creativity as a differentiator, they're willing to pay more for the value that we provide in terms of the insight and the idea.
Right.
But we also have clients who are purely paying us on a vertical basis because we run a portfolio strategy, because we do offer social, we do offer digital, medium. Clients sometimes just take those. Those services do put downward pressure on fees, no doubt about it. Still. Yeah, but I think as this thing I think the great rebundling is upon us.
Right.
And I think as this great rebundling continues to play out, I think we won't see the kind of fee pressure we've been seeing.
Perfect. I hope you're right. And as far as India is concerned, I hope to see you back here, sitting in the same chair a few months from now.
Let's do it again.
Talking about new improved Lowe without Joe. Yeah, sad, but it's real. Yeah. So cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
It is time for us to take a short break. When we return, we speak to Rob Norman, Global Chief Digital Officer and Chairman, North America Group M, about what makes India so interesting in today's times.